Silvia Davis. Become Emilio. Become Emilio, Silvia Davis.
Who is it that inspires you to keep going despite all of your challenges? Contest chair, fellow Toastmasters, I want to tell you about who it is that inspires me. His name is Emilio. And I met Emilio one Friday night while I was at home watching National Geographic. Yes, I am National Geographic on a Friday night years old. The show opens with the camera fixated on a patch of dirt on the beach. The narrator says, 2 months earlier, a sea turtle laid her eggs in this very spot. All of a sudden, out pops a little turtle head and another and another. Then the camera pans overhead to reveal circling vultures. The turtles begin to run towards the ocean and the vultures begin to dive bomb. It is a massacre. I get mad at National Geographic and start to yell at the TV. Put down the camera and help! You know they're endangered. Then the camera goes back to the nest, to the last turtle. I take one look at him and I am instantly in love. I even named him Emilio. The narrator says, as the last to leave the nest, if this turtle doesn't begin to run soon, his chances for survival are greatly decreased. So I yelled at the TV again, run now! And he takes off. Now for a turtle, this is lightning speed. Then the camera shows one of Emilio's siblings. I named him Stanley. The narrator says, out of nowhere comes a vulture. The bird swoops down, picks up the turtle, flies away, but then drops him. When Stanley hit the ground, he doesn't start to run. He stays there, frozen. And I thought to myself, I know exactly how he feels. I have been Stanley. Have any of you ever been so hurt by something in your past that it made you too afraid to take a step towards your future? Stanley had reminded me of something that had happened years in my past, and in that moment, I actually heard my own narrator. 18-year-old Sylvia is going off into the world for the first time on her very own. Out of nowhere comes the pretty boy her father warned her about. He swoops in, carries her away, but then drops her. I was devastated. And like Stanley, I was paralyzed by that experience. But I sat there that night and I continued to watch the show. As they show Emilio, as he's attacked by fire ants, but he keeps going. He's attacked by lizards, but he keeps going. He gets all tangled up in seaweed, but he keeps going. He makes it to the shore and the force of the waves are pushing him back. But Emilio keeps going. And then finally, he's made it to the water. And the narrator says, making it to the water is only half the battle. If the turtles don't continue to swim with speed and caution, they open themselves up to different kinds of dangers. Then the camera shows another of Emilio's siblings wading in the water. I named her Michelle. Okay, get it? Michelle, because she's a turtle. This young one has stopped swimming and is no longer moving forward. Perhaps she's tired from her treacherous journey across the beach. Whatever the reason, she's opened herself up to different predators. She doesn't even see what's coming for her. Barracuda, grouper, snapper. Ugh. When I saw what happened to Michelle, I realized I was no longer Stanley. At that moment in my life, I was Michelle. Have you ever worked so hard to get to where you are in life that you're just tired, so you're willing to settle for less than what you know you are capable of? Again, I was able to hear my narrator. Sylvia has become too complacent in life and is no longer moving forward. She's having problems in her marriage and refuses to address the issues. She hates her job so much that she hates Saturday because she has to go to work the day after tomorrow. She's not eating right refuses to find time to exercise and is really putting on the pounds. She doesn't even see what's coming for her. Arguments with the spouse, dreading going to work, pizza, chocolates. I ended up divorced, unemployed, and 30 pounds overweight. But the camera goes back to Emilio and shows as he keeps going, and Emilio swims off to the ocean and to his destiny. Do you know why those turtles run? It is because they are born with an instinct, and this instinct tells them, run in the direction that is shining the brightest. Now, how beautiful is that? You see, every single one of us have something in common with those turtles, because all of us are born with something in us that is telling us to run in our brightest direction, run to our purpose. But the vultures and the seaweed and the waves, in other words, life's challenges, get in the way and knock us off course. Emilio, I know we're all of different faiths, but Emilio reminded me of one of my favorite Bible scriptures where it tells us how we can run and not grow weary, how we can walk and not be faint. In other words, how we can keep going. So I made up my mind that night to become Emilio. And I am happy to say I am happily remarried, boldly working on the career of my dreams. And as for the 30 pounds. Well, I never did find the time to exercise. I made time to exercise. Stanley, stop being afraid. And Michelle, don't settle. Run in your brightest direction. Become Emilio and keep going. Contest chair.